Hey there. So let's talk about SEO. What exactly is SEO? So SEO stands for search engine optimization. And basically that just means that it's optimizing your content so that search engines can easily index whatever it is you've written and then provide it as an answer to a search query. So showing up in the results when someone does a search, right? So a lot of people tend to think that SEO is a super complicated thing and it's so hard to learn. But the reality is that once you really understand how it works, it is actually quite easy to get your content ranking. And so instead of being afraid of it, if you spend a little effort in learning the basics of it, it's going to give you such long lasting results. And so what I mean is, we have social media, we have Facebook, we have Pinterest, we have email and all these things, right? But when you share a link on Facebook, let's say, or Twitter, it's really only good that day because the feed is so, it just recycles, right? Especially Twitter. And so a week from now, that post is long gone. And unless somebody literally is trolling your page and scrolling through everything, the chance of them actually clicking or reading that post is very minimal. Pinterest is another great thing. Pinterest is a search engine. But we all know how flaky Pinterest can be. Every other week it's something new. You have to really be there all the time, creating new pins, staying active on it. And it just becomes very taxing on your time. And the reality is the amount of traffic that you get back from it is actually quite minimal for the amount of effort you're putting into it. With SEO, however, when you write a post that is optimized for search engines, even with some of the minor fluctuations of algorithm changes that Google does, a year from now, that single blog post will still be getting traffic, and it will probably be getting much more with every passing month, right? And we're going to go into the details of how that happens as we proceed through the course. So optimizing your content starts, of course, with picking topics that people are writing or searching for, right? Like people go to Google, they do a search, and that's how they find you. So that's number one. But after that, the search engines, like how they determine whether or not to put your content as a as a page one search result is they literally crawl everything on your site. They come in through your domain, they read every word, any link that's there, your internal links, your external links, the topics, and there's just so many parts to it. So I don't want you to think like, oh my gosh, it's so much. It's really not. It's as simple as being specific about what you're writing about. But then beyond that, there's a lot of other stuff. So SEO is not black and white. And the stuff I'm going to teach you in this course is sort of the baseline. But I promise if you do this, you will start seeing your results as far as traffic start to go up, right? And here's the thing. You may have heard on-page, off-page SEO. We're going to talk about some of those and which is more important to focus on first. So, people tend to talk about backlinks, building backlinks and all that. So is that really important right now? Is it really important to build your DA in order to even rank? We're going to go through all of that and dispel any myths that you may have heard. But we're also going to talk about how to help you rank for a variety of keywords for a single post. You don't need fancy tools to do that. You just need to write. And so we're going to go through all of these things and kind of unpack it. And I'm going to explain it to you in super easy, like non-geek terminology, because I am not a geek, but somehow my brain deciphers it. I'm going to help you understand in real layman's terms so that you can really understand what you're doing and how to make it work for you. So take your time as you go through this course. Please don't skip over any steps. We like to jump ahead and like, oh, I already know that. But the reality is, if you already knew that, you wouldn't be taking this course, right? And I don't mean that I guess that was kind of sarcastic, but I mean that lovingly. Trust the process. Every step matters. I always revert back to in the beginning, right? God created the heavens and the earth in 6 days. Every single day was something specific created, right? And if any one of those things had been created out of order, then it may not, it probably would have worked because it was God, but let's say it was like a human, right? So, if we had created the animals before we created like the vegetation and the berries, there would have been nothing for them to eat, right? If we created life before they separated the water and the land, everything would have drowned. right? And so everything was created in a very specific order that built a foundation for the next thing to prosper. And if you think of your blog that way, you know, with SEO, I put things in this course in a very specific order for you to do in a very specific order. And I promise if you do it, you will see the result. It's a little more effort than you may be used to doing, right? Like just writing and doing whatever, but those things haven't worked for you. So I just, you know, I implore that um, you know, take all of this, go through it. Like if you want to just go through the course really quick, but then come back and focus on each lecture. Don't skip ahead to do a chapter if you haven't finished the work in the one prior to it, because it may work out for you in the long run, but it's going to take you much longer to achieve the results that you're hoping for. So anyway, as we proceed through the course, if you have any questions at all, please hop over to my Facebook group and ask. If it's too technical of a question, I will probably just message you, because again, you are paying for this course and I don't want to give too much in the free group, but that is where I can answer some of the basic questions. And then of course, once you've completed all of this training, you do have the opportunity, if you wish, to join in our next boot camp, which is where you get really one-on-one and we dive deeper into it. It's the same curriculum, but we spend it week by week doing Zoom calls and lectures and everything like that, so you can get a little more insight onto what you were doing. Had a lot of students who went through the boot camp after they did the SEO course, this course right here, and they ended up with much better results having me kind of right there to walk them through it. So anyway, more on that at the end, but please just take your time and I will see you guys in the next lesson.